Good evening. Topping tonight's news. For thousands of homeless men and women living in the streets of downtown Los Angeles, the news today was not good. Police Chief Daryl Gates announced that starting next week, the police will arrest anyone found sleeping on the sidewalks or public areas of the city. Matt Stevens has this report.
The word came last night at 5th and Town. The street people have 1 week to move out. Police will give them 7-day vouchers for downtown hotels or take them to jail.
I've waited much too long. I should have done something a long time ago about it.
Chief Gates says the Central City business people have demanded action for 2 years, that the crime rate is down in every part of the city except here on Skid Row.
Why did they put me in jail? For not having a home?
Tomorrow morning, Mayor Bradley and key members of the council and board of supervisors will meet to try to answer their question. If not to jail, then where will they go?
It was 12 acres of deserted land in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. The Salvation Army would run it and serve 1 meal a day. The city would provide tents, cots, toilets, and, they promised, opportunities for a job. The camp would exist for only 60 days. On August 15th, the homeless would have to move out. The mayor referred to it as an urban campground. The homeless themselves would simply call it Tent City.
It's not my style, okay, but I have no other option.
I'm leery of it because it looks more like a concentration camp to me, man.
I'm gonna take full advantage of it.
And I think it's a half-hearted solution.
You have no job and no money, you have to take it as it comes.
Hey, it's better than nothing, huh? Better than being in the street. We give it a try and see what it's like, you know?
My name is Tom Seidman. I had been working as an assistant director on a Hollywood film that spring when a series of personal problems had sent me wandering through the Skid Row district. Now I returned with camera equipment and recruited a crew of homeless volunteers. We all felt the camp was a great experiment, a chance for the city and the homeless to work together to solve a common problem, and I wanted to see if they could do it.
No, I don't want it now. So I want to cook slow so you simmer the seasoning.
Lisa and the baby, Lisa and the baby.
Get your ice cream fresh. Ice cream, anybody over there? Anybody want to buy some ice cream?
What kind you want, little guy?
What kind you got?
Who are the homeless? It can't be put in words. The city, the county, the state, they've all give their definition as to who the homeless are. But the true homeless, only the homeless themselves can tell you that.
Why are you here?
And I was in an automobile accident. And I've been out of work now for a month. So when my money ran out, I wound up down here.
When I got out to service, my family didn't want me to stay with them.
A lot of us didn't finish school, and that's why we're out here.
Why are you down here?
Relocating from another city that didn't quite have enough of the type of work I was looking for.
I got in a little bit of trouble with the law.
See, how can I put this before I want to incriminate myself?
My husband and I had a fight.
I had to split up with my family.
I was looking at my marriage fall apart, and it was like there was nothing I could do about it.
Why are you here?
Why I'm here? Because I have no place to go.
Jobs is the only thing that will stop the homeless situation. This is it in a nutshell. Jobs.
David Bryant leads one of the few organized homeless groups in downtown Los Angeles. He had been a bus driver for the city when a family tragedy sent him into the streets.
I ended up here, down here on Skid Row, a year ago. My wife was murdered, and I give up everything that I had because I didn't feel like life was worth living because the better part of me was gone. I can get a job, and I can hold a job, but I looked at it in this sense here that I'm here for a reason. I have no ambition of being no politician or nothing else other than being a man. I'm just here to help someone else that needs help. So all I want to do is just help.
God is love. I know you've heard a lot of sermons, and that's fine, but friends, God is love. He loves us, and we love you, and I know you love us. Now as we're getting ready to serve the food.
After only a week, the residents of the camp begin turning a dusty, empty field into something more livable.
Give me a little tour of what you've done here.
Wow. This is my front yard. This is the front yard. This is my bedroom, also my dining room, my front yard. Come over here, this is my garden. This is the kitchen. This is the kitchen, this is where all the dishes get washed and everything. This is the kitchen area. My laundry room is back here. This is the laundry room. This is all where we do all the laundry. Lingerie. This is the wash area. Here. Come on. Come on. Now we going around to the driveway. This is my Bronco. This is our transportation to get around. It's on a flat tire right now, but we'll have it rolling pretty soon. And we got a little Star Wars here. Meet Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Now he watch and protect our home while we're gone. And hey, this is it. This is the home of Mr. P. Palmer.
Nikki and Debbie Palmer have moved into the campground from a tent on a downtown sidewalk. They have been homeless since November, when Mickey had an accident and wasn't able to work.
I know what a home is. I know how to take care of home. I know how to have a home.
We can go live with relatives, but I don't want it.
We don't want it. We want to have our own, you know, and this is the beginning of having our own, you know, and I try to make it comfortable as possible for her. And I always promised her that I will build you a home. And so far, this is close as I done came.
What is that stuff?
Whatever it is, you can eat.
I take some taters, meat, and cornbread. I wonder.
Oh, you gonna get picky.
That's macaroni. I want no rice. Give me macaroni.
Carolyn Blue has just arrived from Florida. She has 5 children. The youngest is 3, the oldest 14. Carolyn Blue is 28 years old.
My reason for coming to LA was because I'm a songwriter.
I always wanted something that belongs to me, okay? So I left my mother's, I left Florida, I came to LA. I said, here I can pursue a career. Just sorry I haven't met up with that right guy or that man God has somewhere out there for me. I'm sure he'll come along sooner or later, you know.
Right now, all I can do now is just wait, you know, catching hard times. But, you know, you got to crawl before you walk.
Put that one on that end, because that end seems to be cooking better.
Nate Wheaton is a decorated Vietnam veteran. 9 months ago, the company he worked for had gone out of business. Since then, he and his girlfriend, Judy Madison, have held a variety of temporary low-paying jobs. According to Nate, life is actually easier being homeless.
When I first came down to the so-called Skid Row area, I had a job that was paying a little bit more than minimum wage. And it was just enough to get me a room and enough food and bus fare from one check to another. Eating oatmeal and popcorn and a lot of rice and beans. When my counterparts were staying at home every day, and like I said, having lobster and steak and shrimp.
Delivered to their doorstep.
Delivered to their doorstep.
Oh, you mean down here?
Down here.
He was telling me not to assimilate because then you get comfortable. Then you find yourself getting caught up in that.
You know, we were talking yesterday about making your tent like home. I don't want the tent to be like home, because the more it's like home, the more comfortable it gets. The more I'm relaxed in this environment. I don't want to be relaxed in this environment. I want to worry enough about my stuff coming up missing and being uncomfortable that will push me to get the hell out of here.
There's hope. August the 15th is not the end of the world. Oh, no. The Lord will make a way somehow. Oh, the joy of the Lord is my strength. 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 Oh, the
And hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee.
I used to wish I could sing. Now I wish you could sing.
Everybody can sing. The problem is carrying a fucking tune. I'm drinking living water and I thirst no more. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
For most camp residents, the day ends at nightfall. For Mickey and Debbie Palmer, night brings the opportunity to earn a little money.
Let's go.
Okay, we'll get up on Wednesdays and Fridays. You know, I get my buckets and we walk on over to the flower district on 8th and Wall. There's people that we know over there, they always have extra flowers. They have to order more because some get damaged. Or some of them been open up. And once a flower begins to open, they cannot sell it. So what they do, you know, they give us the flowers.
See you later. All right. Talk to you later, Dad.
I like dealing with God's creations. You know, God made me, God made the flowers, and they make people happy. They make people cry, too. You know, and that's what life is all about. You know, and that's what me and Debbie's life been about. You know, it's been blooming, and a leaf will fall off now and then, you know, but another one always pop up. This is our bad leaf, and it didn't fell off. Now we're waiting for this new leaf to bloom, and that's for us to have a decent job.
June 26, 1987, and this is the first meeting of the governing body for the urban campground.
There had been a handful of organized homeless groups living on the streets before the camp had opened. Others now formed within the encampment itself, as their leaders began seeking ways to have some say in the operation of the urban campground.
We should go out and start looking for tents ourselves.
I mean, we're talking about asking Salvation Army to let us use their phone, which is, again, dealing with dollars and cents.
They have to get okay from the city for us to man one of the phones.
Question is that the agenda be accepted. All those in favor show by sign saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it, so carried.
We as a group don't have a problem with the phone. It now becomes a logistics issue in terms of when and how, okay?
On July 1st, city officials and the Salvation Army hold the first of a series of advisory councils with the homeless leaders to discuss the operation of the camp.
When does the city and Sally think that the sinks will be here, and when do they think that the faucets will be here, and the other things that the major mentioned?
I've got to put this in perspective because the reality of the situation is that this is a temporary situation.
Deputy Mayor Grace Davis had been assigned by the mayor to oversee the homeless problem in the city of Los Angeles. She now becomes the highest-ranking city official with direct authority over the camp.
We are also working to try to find some permanent solutions. Many of the things that you have are exactly what we have in mind also for permanent structures. But many of the demands that you're making for here, you know, are just taking away from us doing something after August the 15th. We're under a mandate, by the way, to have permanent sites by August 15th.
This is only temporary. This is a 60-day experiment. If this is a success, then we've got something else coming, which is more permanent. This is something I'll be working on come Thursday. I'll be out scouting the territory for a building for it.
Aaron. Okay, Aaron, look at the red light on the camera. All right. Okay, 4 to 6 weeks in the mail.
In the fourth week of the camp, the city begins fulfilling its promise to bring a variety of social services and job training opportunities to the residents of the urban campground.
Under this program, we will pay that employer to train you.
What I'm recommending to everyone I talk to is that they also attend one of these job search classes. Like the resume preparation, applications, presenting yourself to employers, which is, half the battle in getting the job.
This here is the best thing that I see so far, is that we're finally getting down to the heart of the problem here, and that is the job.
For the new people that are here, I ask a question. I'd like everybody to kind of answer that with all the classes, and that's, how does it feel to be unemployed?
I feel very bad because, like, when I don't work, then I lose all my energy and all my strength, and I become very depressed.
Insecure. Very insecure.
Being unemployed makes me waver between having a job and committing a crime to get some money. That's what being unemployed does to me.
William?
Makes you feel sort of useless in a way. Sort of keeps you down, you just feel down.
What we want to try to do in the workshop is switch that over. Positive. We can talk about.
I need help out of here. I'm helping myself. Much as I'm making all my determinations, the efforts to do what I have to do, but I need help out of here. I cannot do it by myself, and I'm ashamed to say it, but then again, I feel content saying it.
Anybody wishing to attend the workshop, please come to the Olympic Torch trailer.
Okay, what we're going to do is we want to interview Mickey here, and let's be as tough as we can on Mickey, because in order for Mickey to get hired, we're going to need your opinions, okay? Mickey, what type of work are you looking for?
More or less like landscaping, groundskeeper. I never in my life ever knew that you have to go through a course for an interview to tell somebody, hey, I need a job. But you have to. You need somebody to tell you the proper way of doing things, just like your table manners. I'm learning. I'm learning, the proper way of bettering myself. This is another step. And the best accomplishment that I really found out is what I really wanted to do with my life.
And what is that?
To have a good job and work for a good company.
Okay, I've been apartment hunting ever since I've been here. I'm looking at the low-income housing, right? They're full. You got the 2 to 3 year waiting list. I just need some type of assistance until I'm able to get on my feet.
Basically, right now, we'll shelter you up to 28 days. That is if you're following our contract.
Among the services now available at the camp is Para los Niños, a private agency offering temporary shelter for families with children. That afternoon, a field worker approaches Carolyn Blue with an offer of placement at the Pacific Grand Hotel.
And you don't want to do that? Okay, because we
Well,
don't
I'm
have a
looking for a
voucher for
place.
another place.
That's okay, I'm
You
looking
may
for a
go
place.
through Catholic Social Services.
No mission, thanks.
No,
I'm
it's not that.
I'm
They
okay.
put you up in a voucher in another hotel.
I'm okay, I'm fine. Like people that I'm with, I feel secure here until I get my own place. Thanks.
First night I stayed here, I stayed at Pacific Grand Hotel. I was on the 6th floor, Tom. The windows don't even close, and they don't even have a screen. And my baby, 3 years old, she could fall out the window. And my kids here, they can run around, they can play, they're not shut in. Here, I mean, it's dirt, but it's better than staying at Pacific Grand Hotel, believe me. I stayed there.
But this is a list of all the different jobs that we have. So what we need is anybody that wants to fill these positions to come on out, and I'll be able to, willing to transport them over.
The city's job effort begins to attract the attention of local corporations. The Marriott Hotel in Torrance agrees to open its application process to residents of the camp. Steve Wiley, jobless now for 4 months, is among the first to sign up for an interview.
You can't give me money to get out of here. See, I have problems with money down here. The environment's keeping me down. So it can't be money. It has to be a job.
Best of luck, good brother.
Right,
Come
Dave.
on back with them jobs.
The following day, representatives of the Marriott returned to pick up the applicants for a second and final interview at the hotel.
We should find out today when they start.
But Steve Wiley is not in camp today. He has found a day's work unloading trucks for $25. Steve misses the second interview, and with it, the chance for a steady job.
You have a choice like this. Tomorrow morning, someone has told me that Alcoa Aluminum is hiring, all right? But tomorrow morning, I know that there's a truck coming in that I can unload for $25. We have no money. I can't take the chance of missing the truck for putting in the application. And the application is my best shot. But here you don't live for next week. You have to live from day to day. And the further and further you get out of that mainstream, the harder it is to get back.
Every day next week, I think that someone's going to be out here with employment possibilities, or that you refer people to employers. So, you know, that's going to be useless if there aren't some people here.
In the first week that job services were offered, 43 camp residents applied at the social services trailer. By the second week, the total had dropped to 18. By the end of the third week, the numbers are down even further.
A lot of people are not taking advantage of the jobs that are being offered here, of the job opportunities, the job training opportunities that are being offered here. And, you know, they've been on the table for a while now, and not a whole lot of folks have tried to take advantage of them.
Michael, we have people that are not able to take advantage of it.
There's no doubt about that.
You've got to understand
Michael,
that.
there's no doubt that at least a third of the people here, cannot take advantage of those job opportunities. I fully accept that.
Correct.
But what about the other two-thirds?
Really, to go out and look for a job, you do have to look neat. There's no way to iron out here, so your clothes can look half decent. You don't have no curling irons or electricity to be able to fix yourself up. With your clothes all wrinkled and your hair all messed up, who's really going to think you want a job when you go up there and look for a job?
You know, I was working up until last week. There's no affordable housing here in Los Angeles, you know? I mean, I've had two jobs. They both pay like $4 an hour, and you can't live on $4 an hour.
Maybe I haven't put forth 100% effort, but, you know, that has to do with transportation. I have none, you know. Permanent residence, place residence, which I don't have.
They need clean clothing available. They need some kind of a wake-up system. They need some kind of a contact system. It's very hard to put somebody to work who doesn't have a firm place to stay.
And where do you start? They can't have enough, they can't save, for whatever reason, enough money to get an apartment. Without an address and somewhere where you can be stable, how do you go about looking for a job?
Since they froze the minimum wage thing, I haven't bothered looking for a job.
They have a whole pool of people to pull from. Why should they take a 50-year-old man?
Maybe, you know, I could put forth more effort. I'm sure that. I believe that myself, but you know, I haven't.
I don't think it's so much laziness as just afraid of making a change. It's a matter of that they're afraid of taking the step of changing their lifestyle.
As bad as this lifestyle may seem, it is a lifestyle these people know, and I think they're just very hesitant about leaving it, taking a chance on rejection and failure.
I don't need to be out here. I got enough people in the world, even right here in Los Angeles, California, where I could go do whatever the fuck I wanted to do.
So what are you doing here?
I'm here because I'm lost, man. I'm lost.
Well, my cause may be physical or mentally. Some can't help it, man. They can't help themselves. You got men out here who's willing to work. Some men are working, but they just can't earn enough. And still, you got them living in the streets. Yeah. Ooh. Innocent people like you and me. Well.
In mid-July, barely 1 month after the camp opens, the city posts notices announcing its closure on August 10th, 5 days ahead of schedule.
So where do they expect us to go, back under the bridge?
I have nowhere to go.
We don't have nowhere to stay for right now. When they close this, I know they don't want people going back downtown sleeping on the sidewalk.
I really have faith in the city.
Mr. President, members of the City Council, the closure for the urban camp was developed by the Community Development Department.
What happens on August the 11th?
We hope that by then we will have this additional building where we can move those 250 people that are
You have some spots selected?
We have several spots, but until we get some answers from the people we're negotiating with, we can't go public with them. We know that we have a mandate to provide alternatives to this.
Supposing some of these deals don't come through, what is your mandate? Where would the next step? City Hall?
Mr. Bernardi, we are working with every conceivable resource we have in the city, and we haven't given up yet, and we will be back to you.
When will you be back to us? Next week?
Every day I'm looking for answers.
The city has to do something in terms of, when the camp closes. If somebody comes in with a proposal that the city can really support and that's going to be a good proposal for the homeless people in Los Angeles, that's what we're going to go with.
If you don't stand for something, you go for anything. And it's about time for everybody to start standing up.
The response to the deputy mayor's request is immediate. The majority of the camp's leadership comes together to discuss the elements of a long-range program for homelessness that the city can support.
Okay, the management committee will be comprised of how many members?
The city said they need a management system, and we know what elements to put into the system to make it work.
What we're doing right now is what we're hammering out is a declaration of independence for the homeless, for the people and by the people.
Honorable Tom Bradley. Dear sir, the herein attached document explains a program called the Community Reestablishment Program for Transit, or CREP.
The CREP proposal is, the leaders believe, a comprehensive low-cost solution to the problem of homelessness. It proposes bringing homeless individuals together in shared apartment rentals, pooling a portion of their welfare income to pay the rent, and thus allowing each individual to begin saving for their own apartments. Once housed in a stable environment, the participants would be guided through a variety of existing social service programs, drug rehabilitation, psychological counseling, job training, to begin the process of re-entry into society. Finally, each individual would be assigned a mentor, someone who could support and encourage them, not only in the CREP program itself, but after they began working and living in the mainstream.
It's a second chance is what CREP will give the homeless, a second chance. And this is what we need, is a second chance.
July 21st, 1987. In less than 3 weeks, the camp will close. Today, the City Council meets to determine a closeout plan for the urban campground. With support for the CREP program growing throughout the camp, a decision is made. The homeless will march to City Hall and present their proposal to the council themselves.
We got one thing we got to do. We might be small in number, but we have a force behind us that's stronger than the strongest force in the world, and that's God. I believe in my heart that He's going to do what we want today. But we've got to believe, your faith has to be as strong as mine that He's going to do it. So I'm supposed to lead, I guess so. I guess we'll walk down to
City Hall.
Let's go, one unit, let's go.
Hopefully, we can get a place. We can get a place where communal living will work. And maybe that's what will come out of all of this. Maybe to give birth to higher values than a lot of people came out here with.
It's not a thing to make homeless people a boss over the city and tell the city what to do. We just want to have some say in our lives and the lives of our children to come.
So once again, we're in an interim phase of transition from one form of emergency response, unfortunate, to another which says that in a minute we're going to have people back out on the street.
If there's no objection, we'll have a 10-minute public hearing.
You act like you're doing us a favor by letting us stay on the land.
Come out there and look in the tents. See how these people live. See how their minds work. We got people out there, if you have buildings that need to be renovated, let us do it.
I have fought wars abroad so that future generations may have solid foundations free from fear. I have built solid homes, businesses, and solid foundations for future generations. Me, useless? You don't get to be in the ranks of old timers by being ignorant, but by being intelligent enough to persevere. After all, life's experience is what we know best.
No applause, please. Miguel Capano.
On June 11, 1987, the city of Los Angeles opened an urban campground to provide temporary shelter for 600 homeless men and women and children living on the streets. Thereafter, notices were posted for closure of the campground on August 10, 1987. On July 20, 1987, a letter was submitted to the members of the committees and the mayor requesting that the homeless themselves actively become involved in the decision-making process of the decisions that affects the lives of homeless people. That request is called Community Reestablishment Program for Transit's CREPT. To make the mayor's request a reality and the request of the homeless a reality, we respectfully submit that, 1, that the city make a written commitment to acquire a consultant. 2, that the city acquire a building and that said building be available on the closing date of the urban campground for immediate occupancy by 600 campground residents. That the consultant include CREPT as a management systems provider and the city of Los Angeles as a contractor.
I have a letter they want me to read you. It says, "Dear Sir, this service meets the needs of the 600 homeless citizens of the urban campground. This service will provide emergency shelter, transitional housing, permanent housing, on-the-job training, drug rehabilitation, referral, and resocialization into the mainstream of society are available. Purpose of the service, to assist homeless persons to successfully
Members of the council, the time is up. I thought that letter wasn't that long, but the time is up. Do I hear a motion to extend the public hearing? Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Farrell, you've asked to be heard.
That afternoon, the council approves a plan for closing the camp. It calls for a return to temporary housing in Skid Row hotels and a continued reliance on the county welfare system. The CREPT proposal is referred to another city agency for possible review.
Let's take item 2, which is a public hearing.
I'm disappointed that the city wasn't able to come to grips with what the homeless had asked for.
But do you feel that the city is trying to work toward a positive solution?
Where's this coming?
No, I don't think so. I think they're dragging their feet.
We should fight City Hall.
Well, you act like somebody owes you something. They're trying to help you, and you don't have something to receive the help that they're trying to give you. That's
you know
what? About it. See, you try to act like somebody owes you something. They're trying to give you, they're trying to help you.
Whatever count on him.
Whatever they do to help you, you should be thankful for it and try to get up and help yourself.
What size are you wearing?
27, 28.
27, 28?
Yeah.
This week, the Torrance Marriott has an opening for a landscaping assistant. Mickey Palmer applies for the job and begins searching for a new suit to wear to his interview.
That's the suit. That's the suit. That's the suit. That'll work. Ooh, that'll work. Yep. I love you guys. I love you guys. Damn. Well, I think I better have that job, sir. Yeah, I need that job. Give me that job. Yeah, exactly 5 o'clock. 5:15, I want the job.
This will be especially tough on Mickey. He's going out on an interview this afternoon. What job are you applying for here?
Landscaping, sir.
Categorize or establish a priority for a landscaper. What are the most important? What would be at the top of the list? What are the most important?
Being dedicated to your job.
Dedicated? And by dedicated, what do you expound? If you could just...
more or less, make it a part of your life.
Good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow at 8, and then let me know how it goes. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not asking nobody to give me anything. Put me to work. Just give me one day saying this apartment is mine. I can pay one bill myself. That's all I want to do.
Hey, Mitch. Have you seen Nate around?
No, they moved.
They moved?
Yeah, they stay on Union and 7th.
They moved out of the camp?
Correct.
Earlier that week, Nate Wheaton and Judy Madison had moved to a residence hotel in the downtown area, using money they had saved by living at the camp. How does it feel?
Like leaving home for the first time.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like starting all over. I mean, you really don't know what you're gonna do. And there's been a couple of evenings here, you know, I got kind of lonesome for the company down there and say, wow, you know, start questioning myself. Did we really make the right move, or did we move too quick, you know? But it's been okay.
A couple of people told us before we left, what you gonna do with the tent? I said, leave it where it's sitting. They said, why don't you take it with you? I said, for what? I don't want to see another tent. I don't even want to go camping unless I rent me a cabin.
And I feel a lot better, you know, we're broke, but I feel a lot better, you know. It's mine, you know, I got a lock on the door, you know, and a few of the essentials. So I think that's the first step.
Mr. Palmer! Hi! What's the word?
Thunderbird! I got it.
You got it!
I got it.
All right!
I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I got a job. I got a job. Well, I got bad news, Deborah. We gone, boy. We gone now. I am high. You know? They talking about street people, homeless people on drugs. I'm gonna use this drug. It's called work. You don't put it in a pipe, neither. You use these here, TV people. That's what you do. You use these here.
Are you scared at all?
Yeah. I'm scared. I'm scared till I get out this gate and never have to come back in.
Prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved.
Thank you.
That means that the extension has been approved and the matter will go to committee and will be returned here next Friday.
3 days before the camp is scheduled to close, the City Council votes to extend the life of the urban campground for an additional 45 days in order to give the city more time to locate a permanent facility. But on September 18th, 1 week before the final closure, Deputy Mayor Davis admits that the search has been abandoned.
Any building that we found was $2 to $3 million just to acquire the building. Most of them are not seismically safe, which is why they're empty, or they're being sold by the owner. In order to acquire a building that was seismically safe, it was in the neighborhood of $8 to $10 million.
Didn't you anticipate costs of that magnitude when the camp first opened?
Not really.
It doesn't appear as if the city is ready to budge from their more of the same kind of approach. And all I can see it leading to is another crisis.
A few days before the camp is scheduled to close, a fight breaks out involving friends of Carolyn Blue. The police are called. When Carolyn tries to intervene, she is arrested for assaulting an officer.
Carol Stephanie Blue. You're charged with violating Penal Code Section 242-243B, which is battery on a police officer, in this case, Officer Delau. Bail in this matter, instead of $500. Vernon Knowles.
The following day, Carolyn Blue's children are removed from the campground and placed in protective custody.
Can I get a statement? I'd like to get a statement from somebody as to where the kids are going. It looks like the police are taking them to jail.
3 days later, Carolyn Blue is released from jail and learns that her children have been taken from the campground.
Somebody took our kids off the campground. Okay. Let's have a seat. The major will be down. Salvation Army didn't take them off. The children, somebody, protective service took them off.
Yes, my name is Carolyn Blue, and I need to come in and see someone urgent about my children, please, my 5 children. What time? No, I wasn't told. And where?
That afternoon, the court orders that Carolyn's children be sent to Florida to live with their grandmother. But Carolyn Blue decides she must remain in Los Angeles.
Right now, I got to fight for my kids. Continue to pray. You know, I had a dream. I followed my dream, come to LA. My dream showed me where I was going to be very successful with my music. And I did exactly that, because I believe. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right.
September 24th. Tomorrow, the camp will close. City workers encourage people to sign up for county welfare or a temporary voucher to a Skid Row hotel.
We're closing this camp down tomorrow, okay? It's going to be closed. We're trying to find out what you're eligible for, the services you can get, you know? And we don't know yet, because a lot of you folks haven't come to the service trailer.
Trying to relocate you as far as putting you back into the same thing you're trying to get out of, the Skid Row district. You know, it's not going to work like that. People are trying to get out of a burning house, and you're trying to tell them to go back in it and burn up.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to begin the meeting of the Coordinating Council. We do not have a printed agenda, but what we will begin with today is the close down plan for tomorrow's activity. And
Ms. Davis, why was this campground open up in the first place?
Because we have enforced the law of the ordinance that says you cannot sleep on the streets, right. And the mayor did not want that enforced unless we had an alternative to offer.
All right, well, the mayor has the same problem he had when his camp first opened. Now, it was to my understanding with Mike Gage, when we was in there negotiating for this, that at the end of a 60-day period, there would be something permanent coming from this, because this was merely a first step. I put myself and everything I did into telling the people that there would be something to come out of here. You made me out of a liar. Some of those out there, they're mentally ill. They have an alcohol problem, they have a drug problem. None of this has been touched. But you built their hopes up saying that you were going to have something for them at the end of a certain period of time. You turn around and lied again. Now, we've bent our backs and everything else for to try to help you. Give you a system that works in what you do. You turn your back on it. But if someone doesn't do something soon, you haven't seen no problem yet. You haven't got the answer. I don't have an answer. But this was a step in the right direction, but you're turning around. All the positive progress that's been made, you're shoving it out the door, and you're going right back to the same old system, cycling people in and out with the voucher. I ain't got nothing else to say.
For him to dwell and totally deny that any good came out of the camp is just inconceivable to me.
But what about his feeling that all along the city has said that they have a mandate, that you have a mandate to find a building by the end of the camp?
We never said that.
Howdy. Looking for a guy named Mickey? Aaron Palmer, supposed to be working here, you know who he is?
No, yeah, we know him. I don't know where it is right now.
Never came back.
You what?
Never came back.
Does he work here now?
Not anymore.
Mickey Palmer had reported to work on a Monday. The next morning, he had called in sick. He had returned only once to pick up his paycheck for one day's work.
I was sorry to see that he couldn't make it, because we've just now hired another guy to take his place.
Did you talk to him at all about why he didn't come back, or did he tell you why?
No, I never saw him again. And what he told my guys when he came down here the other day was that he just really wasn't interested.
In a way, I wish nobody would have never even what they say they done for me in the goodness. But what is the goodness of it? I mean, the only thing they did was, here, Mickey, there go a job, you got a job. We didn't did this for you, you're not homeless anymore. But I'm still the same person. I'm still doing the same old thing. How can I know what a new pair of shoes feel like when I'm still wearing the same old dirty shoe, but the only thing they do is get them and throw them in a washing machine or put some shoe polish on them, but still the inside of me is still dirty. It's still dirty.
This kind of situation that we have down here takes a great impact on the mind. There are people that have a desire to go to work, but they don't really know how. They have a complex about themselves after being unemployed for so long. I found that out by being in this situation myself. You have to have something to motivate you to get up and go and start doing it again. You know you can do it. It's a lot of skill out here, but they don't know how to put it back in action. It seems like they are afraid of something. I think it's themselves that they are afraid of.
All cots and blankets will be picked up. If you need any bags, come up to the Salvation Army Trail.
If you need plastic bags for your personal belongings, I have plastic bags. Do you need plastic bags for your personal belongings?
Where you going, Steve? Back to my trucks. Unloading trucks. Working GR, just like I said I'd be doing. Which is not bad.
What you were just telling me, you don't have any alternatives?
I don't have any place in particular to go, so I just go with the group because it's safe, and I will not go back out there on Skid Row.
Steam clean all the cots, and Harold and I were discussing what we're going to be doing with the canopies.
Is the housing that's available to them all temporary housing?
Most likely, yes, as far as I know right now.
Are there places for everyone to go if they need a place to stay?
I cannot say that there are enough beds for everybody.
Attention in the camp. In 1 hour, the city has determined that it is time for you to be on your way.
What has this camp meant to you?
Nothing.
Nothing? Have you changed at all, or have you come to any kind of, you learned anything out of all this?
I learned plenty.
What is that? What did you learn?
I didn't like it.
Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. But down the road I go. I'm on the road again. I'm on the road again. I'm on the road of victory.
Most of the people don't want to go, knowing they will end up on Skid Row. I look at them walking around, some in fear with their head hanging down. I ask many friends, where will they go? They look at me and said, I don't know. They will give you a place so you can sleep for about 3 or 4 weeks. Then you get a check. Don't be weak. 9 times out of 10, you're back on the streets. What will it take to save these souls, so many young, so many old, not sending them back to Skid Row? Here we are, America, hear our cry. Don't leave the kids in Skid Row to die.